It's okay, it's fine. So again,
Yeah. Hi everybody. Hi dear just viewers and dear watchers. I hope everybody's doing great. Here, just I'm gonna be asking some questions again to our previous guest. He used to be in the past for first podcast, and then now this is the second podcast, which is gonna be about the mathematics. And I hope just you, if you haven't seen the first podcast, you may go back and check the first one. So this is gonna be about the math questions, some interview about the math. Yeah. So let's because this is your field and your sphere, and tell us that why have you chosen math as your sphere, as your direction and major?
okay. First of all, Mr. Pinazer, thank you for kind introduction, and once again, thank you very much for hosting me again in this podcast and this conversation. Since I would like to come more often, and probably in the future we're going to be doing it more often, and hopefully we're going to see you guys, basically quite often in the future. So we hope that our collaboration is going to be deeper, and you know we will have more of it in the future, more of our conversation together in the future.
Yeah, our goal is like to share the knowledge and to solve some issues and to make this subject and to make like not only the mess, so many things like to make easier based on our experience, based on our knowledge and things that we have now. Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah,
respond it.
as for the question that you asked me about why did I choose mathematics, well, it's rather strange, like it wasn't why. I never asked myself a question of why did I choose mathematics. I never asked myself, do I have to choose mathematics? It was about like me being put into some sort of a flow of education. I basically did what? Like I was a good student at high school, relatively among my peers. And then it was decided that I will study mathematics at high school on a deeper level. And from, let's say, my eighth grade, I just delved seriously, deeply inside mathematics. And from then on, my life was all about mathematics, like studying, whenever I do something every day, in a sense, I have to include in everyday activities some hours of studying mathematics. But most of the time, my cycle, my routine is based on and around mathematics, and it has been for about 15 years. And I am
So the thing is
satisfied
like,
with it.
isn't it just like one subject and you're just focusing on kind of like boring? You just been focusing, or like what motivates you and what increases your motivation daily?
Well, on the surface, it seems like yes, mathematics only is mathematics and nothing else. But if you delve deeper into it, if you go deeper, you will find a lot of different fascinating parts of mathematics. You have, let's say, subjects or topics like modern algebra or abstract algebra that deal with structures of certain sets with certain operations like groups, like rings, ideals, fields, and so on and so forth. And you have linear algebra, you have matrix analysis, you have combinatorial topology, topology itself, all of them in terms of flavor, if you touch them, if you do have an understanding of mathematics, will seem to you very different. If you study, let's say, mathematics for about 2 years intensively, you can distinguish, for example, what is number theory and what is combinatorics and what is geometry and what is algebra, basically, or analysis. So saying that mathematics by itself is very narrow thing is an extreme case of misconception, misguidance of the people, I would say. It's rich and it can offer you so many different things, so many different feelings. Like feelings in terms of imagination. You can think about mathematics in such a different manner depending from the field to the field. For example, if you study differential geometry, what do you do there? You study about the curvatures of curves, surfaces, and things of that sort. When you study something of that sort, you will feel that it's really different from anything else that you have studied before. Yeah, well, of course, you can make some sort of connections. Overall, there is a fundamental structure of mathematics. But then, from the fundamental structure of mathematics, different branches of seemingly extremely different branches of mathematics will flow,
Okay.
basically. So,
Yeah.
because of that, it's never boring. I have never been bored of studying mathematics. Of course, I struggled studying mathematics. Of course, it's difficult, but I was never bored of studying mathematics. That's the thing that
So,
drives me till
is this
now.
because that you don't believe that if you try another subject or another sphere, you're gonna so you can't achieve it, or you think that you're better, you are good in this subject in this sphere, and you have to keep going this one. You have to just whenever catch one thing, you have to carry on till the end. You are thinking that daily whenever you come for studying, or you just have you ever thought that this is enough, like. So, and what is? I mean, I hope this you got the question. What I was saying.
Well, I would say that at this point of time, for me, mathematics has become as something that is like an obsession. Basically, I do it subconsciously. I always try to do it. I always want to do it. Always want to demonstrate it. Mathematics is not about knowledge that you acquire. Of course, you have to learn certain things in a sense. But at the core of mathematics lays the demonstration of the things that you have learned, demonstration of logic, demonstration of, to some extent, philosophy. So I think in my case it has become more of an addiction. That's one thing. Another thing is, yes, of course, in the past I used to think I had passions on other things, like, let's say, physics, or even more history. I wanted to become historian when I was a child. Literally, that was my biggest passion until my 8th grade. And I like delved into history books as well, like, as I'm delving into mathematics books these days. And delving into history books are much easier than delving into mathematics because there's not much procedure of heavy abstract thinking in history. What you have to do is just understand, imagine the events that have happened in the past, basically. So I do not think that it's because I cannot do anything else, but rather it's just addiction as a passion, that I'm stuck with mathematics. But of course, as a side effect, I have to accept that it's not lucrative, for now at least, especially in Tajikistan. It's not lucrative, and therefore I struggle a little bit financially doing mathematics
I see. So,
only.
got you. So, what about the other? I mean, students who just want to study mathematics for the first time. Now in our school, like for in so many schools, not only just LFGS, but so many schools, the students from first grade and then start studying mathematics. And what's your tip? Because most of them, some of them, according to my experience, they are just being pushed by their parents and by the teachers and by their but some of them at least maybe they are interested because their relative or somebody taking part in was it taking part in Olympiads. According to my experience, this is my experience, which I was thinking about students who are now taking part in Olympiads and mathematics in our school. Like we got great students and we are proud of them. So what do you think? Like, what do you suggest to those students? And so what do they do just to keep it up and study these things and keep on stay on the track for
Yes,
the other
well,
students?
the hard part of doing mathematics is staying motivated Yes, I understand that it's difficult. You have to be consistent, really. Um, and sometimes you're not going to be rewarded as much as, proportionally to the effort that you have put, basically, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you might fail. It's about, mining, similar to mining kind of thing in the sense you never know what you're going to reach. Sometimes you might be reaching something beautiful, sometimes you may not. But for the people, what I advise is like for the ones who are starting to do mathematics for the first time, just patience. Be patient. If you are patient and if you put enough effort, after some point of time, you will slowly realize and understand the beauty of mathematics. It's really, I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
So does this
So, in order to see the beauty of mathematics, what do you have to do? Like in everything that is of high quality, yes, in every art. Sometimes people say that mathematics is not science, but it's art. So in every art, in order to appreciate, in order to understand it, in order to get some sort of inspiration from it, what you have to do is that you have to thoroughly know what you are dealing with. So the same thing goes with mathematics as well. So in that regard, I'm telling that you have to be patient, work for some time, okay? And eventually, 100%, it doesn't matter how smart, how stupid you are, how much IQ you have or not, in instance, you will be rewarded, definitely. And plus, as a side effect, the universe is governed by the mathematical rules, mathematical concepts and formulas in a sense. The ideas that we use, for example, in order to build some sort of a modern society, again, is based on mathematical modeling. Financial institutions that we have, in sense, in Europe, in all developed countries, or are based in mathematical modeling, or any kind of, if you want to set up some sort of an industry, in the end, you have to do some sort of an industrial engineering, which is also can be considered as part of mathematical modeling. If you are doing computer science until some point of time in history was considered part of mathematics. So if you're doing computer science, in effect, you are doing mathematics as well. So if you're doing mathematics, you will have more aptitude in doing computer science as well. So mathematics by itself is beautiful. It's an art to some extent, but also it has a lot of world applications. You can utilize it in the world, for example, in terms of calculating interest or in terms of trying to understand the nature. So if you want to understand the world, basically what you have to do is that you have to study mathematics. In my opinion, at least, it's not everybody's opinion. People, in the end, there is some sort of a goal of reaching to the truth, right? So there might be different ways of reaching to the truth, and since whatever truth is meant for you. So one ways, in my opinion at least, one ways of reaching to the truth is through studying mathematics.
Great. Now, like this, as we know, you're still teaching in lesson, which is for Town TV, right?
Well,
So
yes.
like kind of teaching only the students. And what's your goal from teaching students? And what just part are you working the same? And just what do you want your students to achieve and makes you happier for you? What part of the each student's achievement makes you happier? Because we got a lot of Olympiads inside our country, so and abroad. And what makes you happier? And so how do you feel happiness in this situation? How do you feel happiness in your students?
That's a nice question. Well, um, what are the things that I want to reach basically by means of teaching to my students, right? What I want to.
Yeah.
Like
Also,
first
like
of all,
after teaching them, after what makes you happy from them, like whenever they get
first
any
of
person.
all, I want them to be successful. Yes, that's one thing that I want. But until their graduation from high school, as long as they are under my supervision, of course, I'm gonna do my best to teach them mathematics. Afterwards, whatever they choose, whatever path they choose, is up to them. I'm not imposing them anything. Whatever they choose, it's up to them. Whatever they like, whatever kind of passion they have. But I will be happy
Mhm.
when a student that I'm teaching will be, after some point of time, able to appreciate the beauty of mathematics by itself, not to see it as a tool, to achieve their goals, not to see it as a burden, but to see it as something that is beautiful, you
Mhm.
know,
I see.
appreciation of mathematics by itself. Olympiads, of course, if they are successful, it's like an extra bonus for me, but I don't want that thing. The only thing that I want from them is appreciation of the beauty that mathematics provides. As a language, you say, or as an art, as a form of art, you say, or whatever. You understand?
Yeah, I see. Great.
So, in that regard, as long as they can appreciate, as long as they can do certain types of mathematical argumentation, they can use it in a clever way, in an imaginative way, you know, then I'm happy.
Cool. So, in regard of explanation, they say explain a sum or x and y, and explain the students these things, and so there are just girls and boys. Whose brain you see that absorb this, catch this one faster and understand? Let's say you explain the same thing for girls and boys, and who understand like in mostly common.
Well, in terms of mathematics,
Yeah.
of course, I do not want to be biased towards any kind of gender, but from the experience that I have so
Science, like
far,
scientific.
I didn't do it intentionally. Like I didn't choose the students intentionally. It was out of natural selection in the sense we tested them, we looked at their results, their capacities in terms of examinations, homeworks, and willingness to study mathematics. And in majority of cases, majority of students turned out to be males. Only special outliers in very rare instances are females. And statistics shows that tendencies as well. For example, if you look at mathematical Olympiads, the majority of students, probably 90% of students that participate in mathematical Olympiads are males. Only a fraction of the participants to mathematical Olympiads are females. But again, I'm not saying that females are incapable of doing mathematics. What I'm saying is that, like at least at the younger age, um, males are more driven to success, maybe because of that thing, and do have more capacity in mathematics in abstract thinking.
Yeah,
But of course, there are some outliers, as I said.
yeah.
Basically.
So, alright, yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I guess we discussed so many questions, but guys, if you have any other questions regarding the mess and regarding just like questions and things, you may just write down below in the comments. Maybe we can discuss them in the future.
Yeah, of
So, if you have
course.
got any
They
other
can mail
things you
us
want to
as
ask,
well.
yeah, I can email. And so, first of all, just you can write and we can discuss those things. And so yeah, I hope just you got something, some information about these things. I think it's gonna help you. And so, but this most of all like for the we're gonna so suggest this podcast for those who are applying for university most of all because they got this background, but also for there were some talks in the middle level for school for youngsters. And yes, just from the experience, from this time, from these books which were read by so Mr. Montrose. Yeah, I hope it was it's gonna be helpful for you. So and see you in the next video. Goodbye. See
Yeah.
you.
Uh, as a disclaimer, one thing to add in a sense, just this is about mathematics. How do you feel about it? Basically, how do I feel about it? You asked about my opinions about mathematics, and I said that thing.
Yeah.
But about universities, applications to universities, probably we're going to do something of that sort in the
Yeah,
next
just in the
podcast,
next
right?
podcast. Yeah, I hope this we're gonna make about the applications. Yeah,
Yes.
and also maybe we can maybe rank the top math universities in the world.
Sure.
And also we will talk about its regions, which is best, and because like Olympiad and those things, which is the best for studying mathematics, which university is best, and we can talk about this in the future.
So
Yeah.
basically, it means that you have to stay tuned and
Yeah.
subscribe.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.